This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Good morning. The time right now is 4:27 on your Tuesday. I'm Lauren Casey. We have several top stories to get to before we get into our show today. We do want to kick things off with the latest on the coronavirus here in the state of Indiana. You're looking at your screen at the latest numbers from the state health department. Those come out around the lunch hour each day. So as of yesterday, we had 5 new deaths. The new deaths staying pretty low the past week or so. The total number of deaths, more than 2,400 in the state of Indiana. We also reported 312 new cases in the state of Indiana yesterday, bringing our total number of cases to more than 45,000. That's since this pandemic began back in the spring. And our positivity rate is remaining around 9.5% positive in terms of people being tested and the number that are coming back positive in Indiana. So we'll break down more on those numbers and what we can expect as we get closer to stage 5 here for the holiday weekend. We do want to take a turn right now to our forecast. Maybe some rumbles of thunder woke you up last night. Todd, when I was on my way here, it was still raining a little bit down in Greenwood. So what can people expect as they wake up and howl at the door this morning?
Yeah, it woke me up. I just heard the rain pelting the side of my house. I heard the thunder as well, Lauren, as that storm rolled through my neighborhood in Indianapolis. Now that storm's kind of made its way up to the north, and there's just pockets of heavy rainfall and non-severe storms out there right now. But where the rain is coming down, it's coming down quite heavy. It's still warm and muggy, obviously, with temperatures that are sitting in the 70s. So throughout the day today, it is going to be warm. It is going to be muggy. Once again, we'll deal with these scattered storms off and on throughout most of the day. But they're likely non-severe. They're going to produce heavy rain. They're going to produce lightning across the area, which makes every thunderstorm dangerous. And there may be some gusty winds, but probably not too severe criteria. But nonetheless, if you do have outdoor plans and one of these storms moves in, you have to take those plans indoors. The other issue with some of these pockets of very heavy rainfall, there are some flood advisories out there. And of course, if you encounter flooded roadways on your morning drive here, make sure you do turn around and not forge into that water. You have no idea how deep it is, Lauren.
All right, Todd, great advice there. Thank you so much. We do want to get to another top story we're following. You may remember yesterday morning we talked to you about that deadly shooting. It happened on the canal, and it was a 14-year-old teenage boy who was shot after trying to rob someone there on the canal, a large group gathering, and that boy eventually died after being treated. So we're talking to downtown residents, people who live in this area, about what happens when it goes dark. It's a different scene than during the day when it's a family-friendly spot. So we're talking to them about what they hope to see happening here in this community. Another story we have for you today has to do with Mass Ave and the ongoing closure there as restaurants are trying to expand during this COVID-19 pandemic into the streets. Our Alyssa Donovan, as you can see, was out there, and she's talking to business owners in the area, restaurants, about the possibility of making that permanent. We'll have more on that coming up on Good Morning Indiana.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
A shooting downtown leaves a 14-year-old boy dead now at 4:30, while those who live downtown say the gunfire is highlighting crime on the canal. Plus,
a bombshell report accuses Russia of putting bounties on U.S. troops in Afghanistan. The president says he wasn't briefed on the matter. 2 new headlines say he was. I'm Alex Brachet in Washington. I'll have details coming up.
And an update on a debate over dozens of geese that were going to be euthanized in Carmel. This morning, the information we've learned that might save them for now. It is 4:30 here on your Tuesday morning. Thanks for starting your day with us. I'm Lauren Casey. Todd Clausen is at home right now with the radar behind him. And Todd, we did have some showers overnight, some areas still seeing rain right now. What can people expect if they're heading out to work right now?
You know, it's feast or famine here, Lauren. You're getting the heavy rainfall, you're getting some lightning, or you're getting some heavy rain without the lightning. No matter where you are, none of these storms are severe. And I think flooding is a bigger issue here this morning compared to the threat of any severe weather, which I think is overall fairly low throughout the day. But yeah, definitely some very heavy rainfall throughout the course of the overnight hours. Our strongest storm right now is kind of right on the border of Marion and Hamilton County. It stretches from Washington Township in northern Marion County into Carmel, and then eventually up into the Noblesville area. And give you a little bit of a closer look. The strongest part of that cell is just to the east of US 31 as it stretches through downtown Carmel. There's some heavier rainfall up here in Lebanon and Thorntown with a little bit of a one lightning strike, and then down to the south, not as much in the way of lightning here, but still some pretty good rain in Martinsville and Franklin, and then some spotty downpours to the east in Richmond. Throughout the day today, we're going to be dealing with these downpours off and on. There's more back off to our west, as you see in the St. Louis area, as we're still in this very warm, tropical-like air mass. So if you are going to be out and about throughout the day today, definitely have the umbrella handy. We'll talk more about the timeline for you hour by hour, Lauren, coming up in just a couple minutes.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Here is a live look right now at traffic on the south side. This is part of your commute. Things are already picking up. I-65 here and I-465, where traffic is traveling up to speed. Of course, we'll keep you updated throughout the morning on any delays in your commute. But new this morning, Metro Police are investigating 2 shootings that took place overnight. The latest round of gunfire happening just before 1 o'clock this morning near East 10th Street and North Grant Avenue. The victim says he was walking down 10th Street when shots were fired from a passing vehicle. Police on the scene tell us the victim was taken to the hospital in serious condition. Less than an hour earlier, officers were called to 28th and Sherman for a person shot. The victim in that case says he was standing on his front porch. The victim claims he was shot when he turned to go inside. He was taken to the hospital and is expected to survive. Right now, police are trying to figure out if those shootings are connected. As we first told you yesterday here on Good Morning Indiana, a shooting on the downtown canal left a 14-year-old boy dead. Police say Curtis White was attempting to rob someone just before 2 o'clock on Monday morning before being shot. Now his death is bringing attention to crime on the canal. Taylor Gowen says that she lived along the downtown canal for 4 months now, and in that time she says she does not feel safe outside of her home after dark. After Monday's shooting, she hopes police decide to step up their patrols.
When it's dark, we don't stay outside, which is unfortunate because the canal has some really pretty places, you know, where you can be outside at night, but it's just not safe.
An arrest has not been made in connection with the shooting of Curtis White. Police are asking for more witnesses to come forward with information.
This is addressing issues that are happening that are outside the will of God with all people, you know, with police, with black on black crime, with white collar crime, you name it. We're coming against the core of it, which is evil.
Community leaders are coming together for a prayer service on the city's northeast side. This morning, organizers say they'll hold similar services across the city. This time, the group is focused on the area where a 16-year-old girl was hit and killed by a stray bullet. Nia Mae Cope's life was cut short on the corner of 38th and Arlington when she was killed by a stray bullet. Cope was riding in a car with her family in the overnight hours of May 3rd while a large crowd gathered in the Old Value City parking lot. Police believe the bullet may have come from the crowd. Cope's death is one of the many that brought this drive-by prayer back to that very same parking lot.
Too much murder. Too many things are going on this side of town. And so the church has to rise up and start going out beyond the 4 walls of our churches and do what we say is going to bring deliverance, and that's prayer.
Next Monday, the group plans to pray at the corner of 71st and Michigan on Indy's northwest side. That's near the corner where Drejon Reed was shot and killed by IMPD officers during a reported exchange of gunfire. At 4:35, an autopsy is expected today for a man who was found dead during a traffic stop out in Sullivan County. Sullivan City Police stopped a car on US 41 around 8 o'clock Sunday evening. While talking to the driver, officers noticed 48-year-old Cosme Guzman of Princeton unresponsive in the passenger seat. Guzman was taken to a Terre Haute hospital where he was pronounced dead. State police say the investigation into what killed Guzman could take several weeks. Well, the fate of a gaggle of geese in Carmel could be decided next week. Last week, a woman who lives in Lexington Farms in Carmel told RTV6 that a neighborhood board voted to euthanize 70 geese. One resident hopes the issue will be up for discussion at the board meeting set for next Thursday. Another issue potentially impacting the plan, the neighborhood needs a permit for geese control. That's according to the Department of Natural Resources. We found out that they do not have that permit, so the geese are safe for now. Barbara DeSemene is among the group of neighbors who does not want to see the geese killed.
The only issue I see with the geese is that sometimes I have to step around some poop. But other than that, they're beautiful. and we love seeing the baby geese. One of the residents said to me, "Hey, we've got these ponds. What do people expect? They're going to come here. They stay here for a while and then they leave."
Several other residents who did not want to go on camera say that the geese have gotten aggressive over the years and they're not afraid of people. We've tried to get perspective from the Homeowners Association since Tuesday, but they have not commented yet. We'll let you know if that changes. The time right now is 4:36. We want to turn now to the latest on the coronavirus pandemic. The State Department of Health confirming 5 new COVID-19 deaths. Nearly 2,500 Hoosiers have died from the coronavirus since the pandemic began. The Department of Health also reports 312 new cases of the coronavirus in Indiana. So far, more than 45,000 Hoosiers have been diagnosed with COVID-19. The positivity rate remains at 9.5%. This morning, the Supreme Court says 4 federal executions set to take place in Terre Haute can go forward. On Monday, the Supreme Court rejected the appeals from the inmates who are convicted of killing children. The executions scheduled for July and August are the first on the federal level since 2003. The inmates are asking a federal judge for a new delay over the other legal issues that have yet to be resolved. The first execution is scheduled for July 13th. An explosive report accuses Russia of paying bounties to Taliban fighters for killing U.S. troops in Afghanistan. President Trump says he was not aware, but 2 new reports say the intel was included at at least one of his daily briefings. As ABC's Alex Brachet reports this morning, both Republicans and Democrats in Congress are demanding answers.
This morning, 2 new reports say President Trump was briefed on plots that accuse Russia of offering bounties on U.S. soldiers in Afghanistan. The New York Times reporting American officials provided a written briefing in late February to President Trump laying out their conclusion. The Associated Press writing, top officials in the White House were aware in early 2019 of classified intelligence indicating Russia was secretly offering bounties to the Taliban for the deaths of Americans. And that assessment was included in at least one of the president's daily briefings. It goes on to say National Security Advisor John Bolton also told colleagues he briefed Trump on the matter in March of 2019. A military official confirms to ABC News that Russian agents were suspected of paying Taliban militant bounties to target and kill American service members in Afghanistan. A source also says the intelligence was specific enough that the military and CIA took steps to increase security and surveillance of Russian operatives in Afghanistan, and senior officials were briefed as well. But overnight, National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien said the president had not been briefed because the information was not verified. The White House also making a similar claim.
There were dissenting opinions within the intelligence community, and it would not be elevated to the president until it was verified.
Unverified intelligence gets put in front of presidents all the time. It's the nature of intelligence. There's always going to be uncertainty. Doesn't mean it's not important, and it doesn't mean it shouldn't be seen by the president.
The political fallout has been swift.
In this case, ignorance isn't exculpatory.
Republican Congresswoman Liz Cheney asking, too, why the president would not have been told and what has been done to protect our forces and hold Putin accountable. The White House briefed 8 GOP members about the matter yesterday. A similar briefing is scheduled at the White House for Democrats today. Alex Brachet, ABC News, Washington.
This morning, state auditors are asking a former township trustee out in Delaware County to repay unaccounted credit card expenses. Those credit card expenses add up to nearly $41,000. The report surrounding former Salem Township trustee Ronette Waitman was released on Monday. According to the report, 81% of the transactions between January 2017 and December 2018 didn't have documentation. No criminal charges have been filed. Call 6 Investigates left messages for both Waitman and the current township trustee. We are still waiting to hear back. The suspected Golden State Killer appearing in court on Monday. After the break, why some say the surprise appearance brings justice for the families of his victims. Todd.
And Lauren, as we make our way out the door here on this Tuesday morning, we are dealing with some heavy rainfall still and thunderstorms in areas. No severe weather this morning, but when it's raining in your neighborhood, it's going to be coming down quite heavy, and some flood advisories that popped up across central Indiana from the rain we've seen yesterday and now this morning. And more is on the way. We'll talk all about it coming up in your Storm Team 6 forecast. The time is 4:40. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on RTV6.
Weekdays from 4:30 to 7.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. It is 4:44. We want to show you a live look to the northeast. This is a view from downtown this morning. We have been seeing a lot of lightning on the camera from this view. Todd's going to let us know who's waking up to the thunder in just a couple of minutes, so keep that in mind as you're waking up this morning. Well, the so-called Golden State Killer is pleading guilty to all of the charges against him. 74-year-old Joseph James D'Angelo, a former police officer, reportedly terrorized victims across California as a serial burglar and rapist. He's accused of killing more than a dozen people dating back to the 1970s. Police were not able to catch D'Angelo for decades. Detectives say a DNA sample from a crime scene was sent to a genealogy website, and that's what helped to crack the case. Back in 2018, D'Angelo was arrested by Sacramento police.
Joseph D'Angelo isn't just the Visalia ransacker or the East Area rapist or the Golden State Killer. He is the real-life version of Hannibal Lecter. He is a cruel, intelligent, sadistic serial killer. He is pure sociopath. He is a master manipulator.
Prosecutors say D'Angelo will serve 15 consecutive life sentences in exchange for pleading guilty. He will not face the death penalty. Political leaders on both sides of the aisle are stressing the importance of wearing masks. That includes Republicans like Vice President Mike Pence and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. An assistant professor of psychology says that seeing prominent political leaders accepting masks will influence individual decisions. Radhika Damian says there are two main sources of what drives behavior: personality and social context. Identifying with a certain political group adds social context.
A lot of people who don't wear masks think that they're not wearing masks because they're kind of independent thinking, but it's very likely that they're also following social norms. They're just following the social norms of a group that thinks you shouldn't wear masks.
Damien says we should remember across the country and across party lines, the majority of people are still strongly in favor of wearing masks. Back here at home, did thunderstorms wake you up overnight? Our tower camera caught quite the lightning show as the storms moved into the downtown area. Storms are also being blamed for cutting the power for 6,000 residents out in Tippecanoe County. Those outages have since been restored. And so for more on that and what we can expect on the radar right now as you're waking up early this morning, Todd, let's go over to you. And it looks like it's still an active radar behind you.
Yeah, it definitely is, Lauren. And those thunderstorms, they woke me up overnight. I heard the thunder, and then I heard the rain pelting the side of my house. And nothing severe out there right now. That is the good news. But lightning obviously makes everything dangerous. So take a live look at Storm Team 6 radar. And you can see as you make your way just north of Indianapolis, that's where we find our heaviest thunderstorm. Although the lightning's kind of tailed off a little bit. But here in Carmel, as you work your way through downtown Carmel and eventually up into the Westfield area and then across State Road 32 there from Westfield towards Noblesville. That's where the heaviest of the rainfall is right now, with a lot of lightning strikes there between Hazeldale Road, 161st Street up into the State Road 19 area as you work your way just north of Noblesville past Forest Park up in Hamilton County there. There's some lightning over into portions of Boone and Clinton County, Frankfort down to Thorntown just north of Lebanon. We're dealing with some heavy rain and lightning strikes. And then south of town, more in the way of general light rain, Martinsville to Morgantown to Franklin over to Edinburgh here this morning. But there's plenty of more rain in this very unsettled weather pattern that is going to be heading our way over the course of the day today. So it's one of those days where you will probably want to have the umbrella handy in case you're out running some errands. You're not going to need it all day long. But when it does rain, we have the potential to see these storms produce locally heavy rainfall and some localized flooding as well. But there's dry hours mixed in as well, as you see. And then we'll kind of fire up more storms during the course of the afternoon hours. So there's some rain right now. I think we get a bit of a break through the middle half of the morning, and then additional storms will flare up later on today. Temperatures are sitting in the 60s and 70s currently across the area. Extremely muggy once again across central Indiana throughout the day today, and high temperatures will be climbing into the mid to upper 80s later on this afternoon. I think today's one of those days where the temperatures are going to vary quite a bit. If you're in the sunshine and you don't see much in the way of rain, you're probably easily close to 90 degrees. And then as we work our way into the afternoon hours, if you see more in the way of clouds and rain, rain. Your temperatures today are probably going to be closer to about 83 to 85 degrees. Tomorrow we're into the upper 80s. We start off with some clouds, but we should get into some sunshine tomorrow. But I do think there's the chance of some scattered storms in the forecast as well. And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, highs will be right around 90 degrees. Still just about a 20% chance Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and into Monday of an isolated storm. But the 4th of July weekend, Lauren, it's going to be a hot one, mainly dry with just those spotty storm chances throughout the weekend and into the first half of next week.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. We are keeping a close eye on traffic this morning as you're heading out there. And here's a look right now up on the north side of town. Looks like we have some kind of incident or slide off there, vehicle facing the wrong direction, kind of perpendicular to the travel lanes there. This is up on the north side of town. Just use caution. We'll continue to keep you updated. It looks like police are working this scene and it's not slowing down traffic this morning. Be careful. We do have wet roads out there and all around the metro area. A historic week is on the schedule out at IMS. An IndyCar NASCAR doubleheader is ready to run on the track's road course. Coming up only on RTV6, how 5-time series champ Scott Dixon is preparing for a big weekend. Plus, it wouldn't be summer without the thrills of an amusement park, so keep watching Good Morning Indiana for your chance to win a pair of tickets to Holiday World and Splash and Safari. It's 4:50. We'll be right back.
Substance use disorders, treatment, and recovery.
Welcome back. It'll be without fans, but the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is preparing for a first, an IndyCar NASCAR doubleheader this weekend. And for IndyCar, it's their first of 5 races in a 15-day stretch, which also includes Road America and Iowa. As our Dave First explains in this Trackside 6 report, you can count Scott Dixon among those who are ready to get back on track.
The smile is back, and after a lengthy layoff, so was the team. As the summer hits, IndyCar and points leader Scott Dixon are ready.
So sitting out all this time, all of a sudden, boom, here we go, right?
Hey, it's a good problem to have, man. That's I was so pumped to get back to Texas. It was just so nice to be back in a racing atmosphere. Obviously, everything is so different right now, even from the the travel to the protocols.
And at Texas, things couldn't have been more dominant, leading 157 of the 200 laps.
Scott Dixon will go across the start-finish line with a checkered flag.
Scott's 47th win, and there to celebrate in a socially distanced victory lane, Team owner Chip Ganassi, who's as committed as ever after adding personnel to the team.
Chip was, obviously times like this are very tough to take more people on in circumstances like this, but, he was willing to do that, and I think it's showing.
Back in the Ganassi racing shop, the work never ends. Crewmen working in shifts to stay healthy off the track while staying competitive on it. No better place to show that off than this weekend at Roger Penske's Indianapolis Motor Speedway as it hosts the first NASCAR IndyCar doubleheader announced in March, and where Chip's teams will be busy all weekend long.
Man, I've been excited as soon as that was, announced. I think it's fantastic, and just kind of a bit, obviously a bit saddened, just the fact that I think it would have been fantastic for the fans. I hope it's something that is going to progress into more in the future. And I think obviously with Roger and his group, that's definitely going to be part of it.
Ultimately, he can't wait, putting on the helmet, sliding into the car, and going full bore once again in this his 20th season.
So many guys talk about the young guys that are coming into the series, but the old guys aren't done yet, right?
No, not at all. I'm not old. Come on.
Wait,
I'm
I mean
the
other old guys.
No, there's plenty of us that are kind of reaching a milestone here shortly. I've got my 40th coming up here in a few weeks. So we will definitely keep pushing. We'll definitely try and keep snatching these wins if we can here and there. I just feel very lucky and very privileged to be able to say that we're going racing this weekend.
And that's a feeling that's timeless. Dave First, RTV6 Sports.
All right, thank you there, Dave. Should be a good weekend there at IMS. It's going to be hot for the drivers on the track, but for everybody watching from the comforts of their own home, you should have a good weekend for racing there. Just small rain chances. Today, though, better rain chances in the forecast. Here's a live look at Storm Team 6 radar. You can see scattered showers and storms kind of all over the area. Nothing severe here. We'll talk more about it when Good Morning Indiana continues. The time now is 4:57. We're back in just a couple minutes.